Hello everyone and welcome to this little video discussing the future of the Japan playthrough and what will come next. Basically, due to performance issues with Hearts of Iron 4, I will unfortunately have to put it on hold until further notice. I'll talk about those issues a bit later, more in depth and what I've tried to do to resolve them. But first I'd like to talk about what will replace and what will come next, basically. So I will simply do a new playthrough in Hearts of Iron 4, and this time I'd like your input on what to play as, so here's the deal. In the comments down below, please do write down your country suggestion and what ideology to do a playthrough of, and 24 hours later I'll then at random pick one from the 0, or hopefully more suggestions of course, and go with that. Sounds good? Well, I sure hope so. At least it sounds exciting as far as I'm concerned. So the important stuff is basically out. The Japan playthrough is on hold and a new playthrough will be starting up. Now to talk more in depth on the issues I've been having. Simply put, I've been experiencing incredibly massive performance issues with the game. As it stands currently, I can't comfortably play it on speed 1 even, due to the massive amounts of freezes and stuttering. Perhaps some of you have noticed it, well, in the later episodes. I think I mentioned it briefly, or maybe even more than that, unfortunately. And it's grown successively worse the further the playthrough has progressed, unfortunately. And as it currently stands, the game will freeze when I start to select units. The game will freeze when I finish selecting units, basically when I start to do like a draw, like a box, and then when I let go of the box and it tries to select units. At both points it will freeze up for like 2 to 3 seconds. And the game will freeze when I give them orders. The game will freeze on every other hour in game. It's just not playable. It's simply not playable. And this happens regardless of whether I record or not, but only on the Japan playthrough, not on the co-op one. The co-op one is working really well so far, even when on higher settings there's no performance issues at all. Probably has something to do with late game. I've read that Hearts of Iron 4 has some late game issues. For some reason slows down, and I'm not the only one experiencing it, thankfully. Or well, not thankfully, I'd rather that I was the only one experiencing it, but I think you know what I mean. And I've tried to use the beta patch, but it doesn't help. I've lowered the settings to as low as possible, but it doesn't matter. I'm left with no options, unfortunately, and that's why a new playthrough seemed like the only decent solution currently. And my computer is by no means weak. I personally would say that it's fairly strong, in fact. Currently I'm running on a GeForce GTX 980 Ti graphics card, Intel Core i7-4790K CPU at 4.4 GHz and 16 GB of RAM. Suffice it to say, performance issues just shouldn't be there for the game. It just should not be there with such a computer. I'm not saying it's the best computer ever, but it's fairly strong, at least. A bit strong. And as mentioned, the game works fine, and if I start a new playthrough, it works fine when playing co-op currently. Hopefully that playthrough will be unaffected by it. So yeah, I'll give the Japan playthrough a shot after each patch that Paradox releases, and when I notice that the performance has improved enough to comfortably play it, I'll continue on with it. But until such a point, a new playthrough it will be. So I hope you've enjoyed the Japan playthrough so far, and I hope you'll enjoy the new one. Until then, have a good one, folks.